What's up, everybody?
Welcome.
I'm Myres Allen.
I'm Stephen Peacock.
And we're recording live from Portland, Oregon today. It's pretty crazy. We ended up in Portland, considering we were just in Cincinnati a few days ago. And people always talk about how Cincinnati is the Portland of Southern Ohio.
That's what they've said.
It was actually crazy the amount of times, specifically Elijah told us when we were in Cincinnati that it was the Portland of Southern Ohio.
That's what they say.
We haven't really talked about that yet. It is kind of wild that we did that. Everything that I've said up until this point on the podcast has been a lie.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? No, I'm Steven. This is Myres.
Hi.
We're back. Episode 21 of Word of Mouth Podcast. We make podcasts with our mouth, and we enjoy doing it. And one thing that I am uniquely fired up about the fact that I do a podcast right now, or I don't know if that sentence made sense. One reason I'm really excited that I do a podcast right now is because this past weekend we got to go to the aforementioned Cincinnati, Ohio, specifically in the suburb of Dayton. Oh,
What's up? Sorry.
I just went. Oh, my headphones just went mute. Sorry. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So we went to the aforementioned Cincinnati, Ohio, to specifically in the suburb of Dayton, Kentucky, which is, I didn't know this till I got there. Kentucky is literally 2 seconds away. Northern Kentucky is 2 seconds away from Cincinnati, Ohio. Like half the city is in Kentucky. Also, part of the city is in Indiana. Truly, Dr. Doofenshmirtz's tri-state
area of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yep. Honestly, I'm really curious if that's what Phineas and Ferb is based off of, because the cities kind of resemble one another.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we were up there, and our friend Elijah saw a need, saw a desire, saw a gifting, and he actually did something about it. He actually did something, which was really cool to me. It's really inspiring to me, because a lot of times, there's a million different reasons not to do things, and I think that paralyzes me, and I think a lot of us young people a lot. It's really easy to make fun of things. It's really easy, like negativity just trends really fast. But one of the main reasons we do this is because just to do it. We had an idea. We thought it'd be a good time. We thought it'd be fun, and we're freaking doing it. So I really hope that maybe y'all out there right now have something you want to do. I don't know, start a pet store, maybe open up another cafe in Dayton, Kentucky.
Right across the street in the Veterans Memorial Center. Do it.
Yeah, buy a bike. I've had a lot of friends buy bikes lately, and I'm not going to lie, I think I'm a little bit to blame for that, because I bought a bike and I posted, and Gracie posted it on Instagram. So buy a bike and have your wife post it on Instagram.
Buy a bike.
Buy a bike. Go on a bike ride. Why not?
Literally, you should ride a bike.
Literally, why? If you think about it, why don't you on a bike? Why don't you go on bike rides?
Buy a bike.
It's just fun. You're ridding yourself of fun that you can have in the world. I'm trying to help you have fun in the world.
Have fun. Buy a bike.
The world isn't just for daily, weekly, morning routines. It's for having fun and enjoying the world.
Buy a bike. Ride it in the morning.
Go bird watching. Stare at trees. Why have you not stared at birds lately? The other day, I was at Jimison Trail walking, and straight up a guy was alone with a bird watching book, walking around looking at birds. And I looked at him, and I was like, man, that guy's having a better time than me right now. Like, you can't tell me that if you got to a place where you were mentally like that point of being an absolute animal enough to where you showed up to a trail by yourself and you were so into something enough to bring a little booklet that helped you recognize birds, that you would be having a great freaking time doing it.
Buy a bike, ride your bike to Lakeshore Trail, get off your bike, look in the trees and look at birds.
Maybe you want to start a clothing company.
Buy a bike, ride downtown, look at commercial real estate, lease a building.
Lease a building.
Stick your clothes in there.
Actually, there's no reason for you to lease a building in downtown if you're starting a clothing company, but Freaking do it.
Don't go downtown and lease a building. Just put your stuff online. Start a vintage store on your Instagram.
Maybe you're in year 2 of working for one of the big fours after getting a CPA. Talking to you, Austin Eck.
Buy a bike.
Buy a bike. Check. He did that.
He did that. Next stop, start a clothing company.
That's right. And me and Austin have tried to start a clothing company several times. And ironically enough, he was into bird watching and he wanted to embroider different types of birds onto just blank white tees we thrifted.
That would be sick.
I don't know what we were going to call it, though.
My friend Heath Paget is really into bird watching and gardening.
Buy a garden. Actually, you don't buy a garden.
Make one. Dig it up.
You freaking build it. I think it's ironic that in Gardendale, the place of your work, the place of my parents' home, there's no gardens. There's no public garden. There's not even like a subtle, I don't even know what to call it.
City
hint.
park with some flowers.
Yeah, there's not even there's not even really flowers there.
Not really.
And ironically enough, the city's logo is a magnolia flower, which is a tree. It's not even like a garden flower.
Yeah.
Man,
what if Gardendale had the Gardendale Botanical Gardens?
I think they definitely should.
That would make it a better city.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, nobody's gonna see that a botanical garden is in a city and be like, I'm less likely to move there.
Yeah.
Everyone will see that and be like, I kind of want to move there a little bit more than I would have if it didn't.
Here's a question. What would have to change for you to want to move back to Gardendale?
Dang.
I've never thought about that before.
What makes you want to move places to begin with, Because I've been thinking about this a lot because where Elijah started his coffee shop at, it's not like a cool neighborhood.
No.
It is freaking cool to me now because Elliott is there, his cafe.
Yeah. If I drove through there with no idea that Elliott was there,
yeah,
or if I drove through there 1 month ago before Elliott was there,
yeah,
I probably would have just been like, oh, a cute little candy store.
Yeah.
And that would have been like it.
I wouldn't have thought anything of it.
We would have made fun of that funeral home that had a funny name still.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
I don't remember even. It was something started with an F, something with an M, something with an E. Yeah.
Also, you think about the Sidetrack in Opelika. Not a cool town.
Yeah.
But because cool people have kind of found, I don't really know what their motive was. It was just like they wanted to care for what was like the cards they were dealt.
Yeah.
Which is, there's something about that's like uniquely, I would say like uniquely powerful to me. I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, that's like, I've been thinking through that idea in my own life. And most of what I've realized as a 24-year-old, a couple years out of college, in a town that I think is pretty cool, but it's not like New York cool, is, unless you get some kind of lucky break and get the dream job or something like that, which is unlikely in the cases of most people, you should probably just make your life into the dream life instead of trying to chase it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so my goal in my life is mostly just to discern what I think would be the dream life and then work really hard to make it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, all the dream jobs were kind of built and made by people who stayed true to something that was like small and nothing at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. I've listened to some business guys recently, and one of them said something like, success often comes to the person who sticks at the thing the longest and pushes through the most negativity and no's or something like that.
Hey, your systems are perfectly designed to give you the results you are currently getting.
Yep.
Think about that one for a while, guys.
Think about that one with your job. Think about that one with the government. Think about that one with your community. If things are not the way that you want them to be, they're probably not designed for them to be better.
Because a lot of people would say, that like they're in a city, post-grad. I feel like this is a pretty common thing. They're in a city post-grad, and they're like, I just don't really have community here. And if you were to say something like that to that person in that moment, that their processes are perfectly designed to give them the results that they're currently getting, that'd probably be a sucky thing to hear.
Yeah.
But it is true, like...
Yeah, I find that most of the time when I come across adversity in life, that's kind of the answer. It's like, well, life sucks, and this is how it is. So either you can complain about it and whine, or maybe you should try and do something to change it if you don't like it. And it really hurts, and sometimes it takes me a little bit of time to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully I will always be able to accept and then aim up.
You have two options. Wah, 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 or...
wah, 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 or... I can't think of a...
Woo-hoo-hoo. I don't know the third syllable.
I was like... It's,
cha-ching,
yeah,
bang.
it's got to be something that's like... what is that called? Wah, wah, wah.
An onomatopoeia?
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of an onomatopoeia that's in the favor of
excitement
and working hard or accepting challenge,
Wah, wah, or
rah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, I actually genuinely thought of yeehaw.
Yeehaw or wah, wah. Up to you.
Up to you. Yeah, we're really stoked for Elijah and Ibby and Asa.
And Timmy.
And Timmy.
Never met Timmy. Timmy's a freaking legend.
Timmy's a beast. We really had fun up there. I don't know if they'll listen to this. They've listened to some of our episodes.
Yeah, Elijah and Ibby listened to all of our episodes on their honeymoon. Like literally every single one that we had put out up until that point. I think that's what he told us, which I was so honored by because I think that's a
really special time.
It's such a fun thing talking to people about the podcast too out in the world. And it is interesting because I think that you who are listening to this right now, or you're in your car, or you're on the subway, or you're in the freaking, I don't know, like you're at your office.
You're me tomorrow when I'm listening through this to edit it.
Myres tomorrow, or you're on a road trip down to the beach, or to to Texas, or maybe you're freaking wild child Sanford kid and you're going out west like every Sanford kid does some summer in their life.
Yep.
Whatever you're doing right now, we are controlling the conversation. You can't implement anything. So there's this level of relatability that you're having, but without having any sort of interjection. So I love having that ability. I love having that, multi-way conversation afterwards. Because I think that it's hilarious how many things we get wrong when we talk about stuff on here. And we get, shout out Julia Parr. She gave us a hefty list of things that we got wrong
on the Hawaii episode.
Turns out that
so did my mom.
Turns out the biggest solar farm is not in Hawaii. It's actually not that at all. There's one that's like 10 times the size or some crap like that.
Yeah, in China.
Shocker. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. My mom told us that there are snakes on Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
And then my mom also told me the death count for Pearl Harbor, and I don't remember what it was.
Got to be bigger than what they were saying.
It was different than what we said, whatever it was.
Whatever we said, wrong.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That was part of why I titled it Dissecting Hawaiian History Inaccurately or something, because we were kind of just talking,
But also, Julia made a fascinating point, too, that it really made her think oh, wow, you could really just spread misinformation all over the place always.
Yep.
That's just, even the articles that your mom read and Julia read to, clarify it, those could also be lying.
Yeah. It's also funny because, I'm not trying to get political necessarily, but news outlets these days, I don't really trust much of anything that they say.
Yeah.
But then it also makes, they exist because they've built up some level of trust in the past. But then I see them say stuff that doesn't seem accurate, and then now it's like, well, I guess I can't trust anything at all whatsoever that I ever read on the internet ever whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't even know what the consciousness of this is, or that's not the right word. I don't know what the the philosophical correctness of this is, but I would almost maybe, I don't know, but the ethic, maybe that's a good word, but I would almost rather read an article with a billion typos and like bad grammar from a super honest witness or something like that rather than some sort of media like mega giant that has an angle.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. You know, like even on a micro scale, like I would so much rather hear someone honestly talk about Elliott's grand opening than hear Yelp Cincinnati's Instagram article about it. Even though Yelp, this is a bad example because Yelp Cincinnati said a very kind thing about them. But for me, it's like, I don't know. I don't even really trust jaded people. Like even Yelp article, like Yelp freaking ratings, I don't even really trust that much.
I actually saw a funny short about this the other day. It was a guy who was talking about how you find good coffee shops and restaurants in a city.
Yeah.
And he said that you should go through all the list of coffee shops and restaurants or whatever you're looking for and look for 2-star reviews.
Yeah.
Because they clearly had some kind of experience with the service where they were treated poorly, but the product was so good that they felt bad leaving it a 1-star. They're like, this person was super rude to me and they were very arrogant. They didn't take very good care of me, but the coffee was so good, I couldn't leave it a 1-star because, man, the coffie was so good.
2-star reviews.
I thought that was kind of funny.
I'm trying to get 2-star reviews in life.
Yeah. Also, if you're watching and listening and you care, you should go to Elliott's Yelp page.
Oh, yeah.
And leave a bunch of 5 stars for them. Just cause.
NPCs that definitely are just like, best coffee in Birmingham. And then they go to freaking Santos.
Yeah.
No hate to Santos, but hate to Santos.
Hate to Santos.
If you go there, try harder.
Also, if you're the owner of Santos, come on our podcast and defend yourself.
I would love to talk to you if you're the owner of Santos.
That would actually be kind of funny.
One time I walked into your shop and I said, what kind of coffee are you serving? And you said Arabica, which if you don't know what that is, there's no reason for you to. But pretty much every coffee on planet Earth is of the Arabica origin. Like literally, if it's
what
not
kind
Arabica,
of coffee are you serving?
Trash.
Coffee.
Literally, it'd be like
coffee beans.
Like what kind of freaking? I'm trying to think of a good example of this. What kind of coffee is this? They're like, oh, it's not soda water. Or like what? I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways, yeah, it is. I was just super frustrated in that moment. I got a great crepe. Honestly, 2-star review from Santos.
Yeah. I think their pastries are kind of yummy.
Great crepe, really weird customer service, and really bad coffee. That's my... I also went to their first ever coffee shop like a week after they opened, so they've probably gotten exponentially better in that time. And if I did have a Tesla and I did live in Gardendale, I would go to Santos quite regularly because that's where the only Tesla chargers in all of Gardendale are.
Yeah. There's the Santos in Gardendale is in an old Wendy's, and I just have a lot of trouble getting over that.
The old Wendy's is an old Dairy Queen.
Praise God.
Which Dairy Queen has opened and closed 3 times in Gardendale. I don't get that. Sonic is also closed for 9 months, and they're opening back up again already. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know how that works. I don't know how... fast food restaurant industry is so funny because it seems like they just exist everywhere and they never go away. So when one closes, you're like, wait, really? Something went that wrong? I thought you just always existed.
Yeah, like they can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a McDonald's like close.
I've seen 2 closed McDonald's in Birmingham.
I've heard
there's the one in Irondale over by like Irondale Pickers. That one closed recently.
You're right, yeah.
And then there was one in Bessemer over by Niki's West, that exit. That one closed and they tore down the building. And we thought they were going to build it back. Nothing.
Dude, I went to Niki's West for lunch with Gunner. Shout out Gunner. On Tuesday. I would say I've probably been there 10 times in my life. Maybe more. But I will just leave it at 10. The last 4 times I've been there, super dry meat. Super dry.
What'd you get?
This week I got beef tips on rice.
Uh-huh.
It was I need to tell Gracie about this because I don't know if any of y'all know what beef tips on rice are, but I was just like Gracie and I right when we got married. I was like, she was like, oh, what do you want for dinner this week? And I was like, beef tips on rice sounds amazing. It was like getting towards fall. And beef tips on rice, if you don't know what it is, it's just cubed meat. Like, do you know what it is?
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's just like cubed beef, or I guess it's like but like what's in pot roast? What's that beef called?
Roast.
Yeah, like
chuck.
Roast
something?
chuck or something like that. It's just like cubed that meat. That's
Yep.
like pot roast with a bunch of like. It's not gravy, but it's like a pot roast kind of thicker broth on top of white rice, and you just eat that. And then my grandmother makes it with like this specific type of bread that you like kind of dip it with. It's kind of like a British vibe.
It's kind of like meat and pie vibe, like a shepherd's pie vibe, but with rice.
Shepherd's pie.
Instead of
It's a shepherd's pie.
shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie. I don't know how to say pie in an Australian accent.
Shepherd's pie.
Pie. Like a Y. There it is.
Oi.
Australia. Pie. Shepherd's pie. Anyway, that got Brooklyn vibes. Anyways, Gracie had no idea what beef tips on rice was, and she was like, "What the heck is that?" Like, she got like, it was one of those funny moments where, you know, whenever you do life together as a married couple, oh, Gracie just walked. She just finished her Peloton workout. You didn't know what beef tips on rice was.
La Peloton.
But we finished, or anyways, whenever you're married, like sometimes you're just constantly talking, and I would say like 50 to 60% of the time you're just on autopilot, and you're just like, take out the trash, okay.
How was your day?
literally.
I work. I answer the phone. I do school.
same thing. But every once in a while, you'll say something, and then out of nowhere, like the energy burst will come from the other partner, and you're just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's funny. But anyways, that was one of the times where I was like, beef tips on rice. And she was like, Steven, that's not a thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? And anyways, she ended up making it, and she was like, it's okay. Like, she didn't really like it. It's not really like it's not really worth making. It just hits sometimes. It's like a chili vibe. I don't really know how to explain it. But anyways, I had beef tips on rice in Nikki's West. And
was it good or was it dry?
Was so good.
Good.
It hit this week. I was like, this is a 5-star review experience.
I've been to Nikki's West probably 10 times this year, maybe more.
No way.
We go there so much with
That's
work.
true. I feel like I've gotten invited 5 times this year. I've only gone
Yeah,
once.
it's usually on a Monday when you have your staff meeting.
Yeah.
It's gas. It's so good every time.
Dude, the mac and cheese, the carrots were way better than I anticipated. The black-eyed peas were so good. It's a meat and 3 in like, there's an area of Birmingham it's a town called North Birmingham.
Yeah.
And nobody really ever goes up there. The only reason we do is because there's a huge factory up there called a SIPCO. It's a acronym, Alabama Cast Iron Pipe Company. And a lot of people from the town that I'm from, they commute, like the men commute and work at a SIPCO, and it's like right beside a SIPCO in this like rail yard factory, like huge warehouse district.
Yeah. It's
And-
very like industrial type city.
Yeah.
Part of the town.
And it was like, if you think about the history of Birmingham, a ton of old people, a SIPCO is not getting any bigger, like because people just like buy cast iron pipe from other countries or whatever now. But back in the day, a ton of people worked there. A ton of people moved to Birmingham to work there, to get a job. It was like one of the first things that
part of the Industrial Revolution. And
there
stuff.
it is. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. But a bunch of old people still love it because it was like historically, like it was like famous back in the day when they were growing up and they were all working at a SIPCO. It was like a nice place. And now it's like, I mean, it's massive. Like
it still gets so busy at lunch.
It is so busy. It was also funny. I just saw so many like Gardendale parents whenever I was in there. I was like, wow.
I tend to see like guys who are much older than us at Samford there with their dads.
Literally.
Like I saw Brett DeFore there one time with his dad. I saw a guy from my home group there one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then your dad and Alan always know somebody there.
Somebody, yeah. But it's like, it's only, 5 minutes from downtown. It's probably 15 minutes from Homewood. So.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, $12-15 a plate or something like that.
Yeah, it's not too expensive.
It's
yeah,
not
because for
terribly
Gunner
expensive.
and I, it was 31. So, I bought Gunner's meal. It's freaking flex. I'm a good friend. He volunteers in the parking ministry at Redeemer. So, if you ever see one of the guys rocking some freaking royal blue lens Costas helping you park at Redeemer, that's one of them.
Come on.
But anyways, it was a great time.
Mega
Today's
chiller.
episode is definitely sponsored by Nikki's West.
That would be crazy.
Deciding. It's a great time. I kind of want to go there again next week.
Yeah, me too.
Specifically with the PI boys. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I'll see if we can rally.
Myres, speaking of PI, new office.
We're getting a new office, everybody. We our rent was going to be going up in December, I think. So your dad
So
was
a whopping
like
$1,600 a month.
Yeah, from 1,000. That's crazy. We were paying $1,000 a month
I thought it was
for
14.
rent.
You know it's 1,000.
I'm pretty sure it was 1,000.
Wow. Okay, that's actually a pretty huge
Which
jump.
is why it's a big jump. Which is why your dad was looking at other options. Because if it was a $200 a month,
No wonder the
increase-
landlord sucked. He
No.
/ she couldn't afford anything.
Yeah, she wasn't making any money really. But yeah, we're moving offices. It's a bigger space. I think we'll still have 5 offices, one for everybody. But I get my own office now instead of my like sort of office that's mostly just the lobby.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be sick. I'm getting a window, 2 windows actually,
Come on.
which is super sick.
Man.
One of them is floor to ceiling.
There's only
sort
one
of.
woman that works there, Wendy, and she's getting her own bathroom.
She is getting
It's
her own bathroom
in her office, which is
Kinda
crazy to me.
Yeah, it's in the back corner, so I think in theory it's supposed to be like Mr. CEO's office, but your dad wants a window instead, so he's getting the other
Sitting in
front
front.
office. We got lots of plans for cool stuff in there. I'm gonna get a standing desk.
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
build some shelves, hang a bike on the wall,
Yeah.
buy some kind of mid-cinch mod chair kind of thing.
Well, see, the good thing is with your bike, which back to our first point today, buy a bike.
Buy a bike. I have a bike. Steven has a bike.
We can go on a bike ride together, all the things.
Yep.
Buy a place in downtown Birmingham. But anyways, with your bike, it's a good thing that you have a ginormous car so you can take your bike back over here and do bike rides.
Yep.
I think I'm going to get a bike like rack or something like that for the back. I saw one that you can kind of like, it's like you can tighten like these ropes around your trunk, your whole trunk door.
Yep.
Because I don't have a trailer.
And they're like $200, $300 or something. I feel like they're not terribly expensive.
yeah, that's
could
more
probably
than
find
my
one-
freaking bike. But
You could probably find one on, yeah, that is
Facebook.
a funny thing. You could probably find one on Facebook. I found that a lot of bike racks, like the ones that have the tray that your bike sits on,
yeah,
those are like $3,000, which was crazy because I really wanted one. I had a full suspension bike at a time, which has shocks in the front and the back.
mountain bike.
Mountain bike.
To all of us common dwellers, it is a mountain bike.
Yeah. And to Caleb Person, I had a Yeti, and he already knew. And anyways,
You sell your mountain bike?
yeah, I saw it a long time ago.
Okay.
But I couldn't fit it on my normal bike rack that has these little prongs, you know?
Yeah.
Because the other suspension thing got in the way. And so I was looking at these trays, and I spent like $1,500 on that bike, and the trays were like $2,000 or $3,000. So I was literally looking at spending double what I
Double.
bought the bike for just to be able to carry it places.
That's crazy.
But my car is big enough that I could like take the tire off and kind of make it squeeze.
When you think about it, Caleb's our friend that's super into mountain biking. He lives in Colorado. He has a super nice bike. That's well more
Several
than
of them.
$3,000. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
But like he is going on, like he's leaving his house in like close to downtown Denver, putting it on the back of his car in like sometimes like winter conditions, driving it multiple hours into the mountains, and then getting it out. And for that, I totally understand why you would want something that's so safe.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to mess up this super nice bike in this like crazy, drive out here or whatever. But for me, I'm just trying to get it from here to freaking Lakeshore.
There.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Here to there.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. I was talking to Lane. We need to have Lane Mitchell on this podcast.
We do.
But I was talking to someone about Lane the other day. I can't remember who. But anyways, I was talking to somebody about Lane the other day. And Lane's wife, Emily, lives in downtown by Railroad Park, like for non-Birmingham people, center of Birmingham, downtown. And she drives her e-bike to...
I think it was Blake.
Oh, there's Blake. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like this weekend.
Yeah, she rides her
she rides her
e-bike
e-bike to
somehow
Sanford.
over to Sanford.
Which is like, also for non-Birmingham people, that's like a really...
It's probably like 7 miles maybe, but it's up over the mountain.
Yeah.
So you've got to find a way to like...
It's probably not even 7 miles. I don't even
think?
know, though. I'm really curious. Where's my phone?
I don't know.
Let's map this ish.
Because I'm thinking... I've never run downtown, so it's hard for me to know mileage and stuff over here.
From here from where we're sitting right now to East Pole is 4 miles.
4 miles. Okay.
So it's probably 4 miles from
I feel like
there
it's
to Sanford. I don't know.
It's probably 2 miles from Sanford to the top of the hill. Do you think?
All right, 5.3 miles.
Yeah.
And she goes like by the Vulcan, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
And so she probably comes up the backside. So it's probably even like 4.5.
Yeah.
But
That's
still,
actually
like,
not that bad, but it's
not
up
that
a
bad.
hill.
But on an e-bike, she must have a freaking powerful e-bike to get over that hill.
Yeah. I don't know. The only e-bikes I've ever ridden are like the city bikes or whatever.
Those things fly. Those things are a good time.
Yeah.
I rode, or I was driving into downtown the other day, and I saw a guy. And this is bringing back up our bike lane conversation. This guy was like driving his bike, and he wasn't like a cyclist. He was definitely a commuter. Like he was wearing like normal outfits, and he was dressed as if he was going to like work a barista shift. It was that kind of person. Yeah. And he was driving in the middle of the right lane. Like not saying as if he was a car, but I feel like if you're like there's a specific roads in Birmingham that have bike lanes on them, and then there's a main road called Highway 78 that runs all the way through like East Birmingham. East Birmingham that doesn't have bike lanes. And he was on the highway, which is like the main expressway that people go from like East Birmingham into downtown. Yeah. Really busy road. And he's in the middle of one of the lanes. And to me in that moment, I wasn't mad at him for doing it because like he probably didn't know any better. But I was like, why are you like, how do you not understand that like don't impede traffic? Like, there is like like move off to the side, like no worries, like we'll get out of the way. But it wasn't like a maneuver that you could stay in your same lane and get around them. So I think that's my new jurisdiction is like if you're a cyclist that's over in the right lane, like get over in the right lane. Like don't like just sit in the middle of the right lane.
Yeah, from my understanding of cycling etiquette, from the bit of cycling I've done, you're supposed to act like a car so that people will like treat you like one. Okay. And in theory, give you like space and respect your space. So he might have been trying to do that, I guess.
Yeah. I don't really know what the difference is between like if you're in like a full bib and you're like on a and you're like you're actual cyclist or whatever.
Yeah, you're on an exercise cycle.
I feel like you're going 25 miles an hour. Like I don't know if that's right. Maybe 18.
Yeah, it depends.
This dude was going like 7 miles an hour. And it was just like, man, come on, man. Like, yeah. Another thing this is another stipulation that came up. Our friend Cole was on the way to church on Sunday morning, and a group of 20 cyclists taking up the entire road got in front of him. There's another thing where I was like, I don't know if cycling code applies to a group of 20 cyclists.
Yeah.
I couldn't really figure out how I felt about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's like, I don't really know how they go single file line because that'd be super weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they typically go
super fun.
At least 2 abreast.
2 abreast. Is that like
next to each other?
I think that would be so fun to be in a group of 20 dudes because it's like, what are you going to do?
We should go do trample. Like when you get back, we'll go do trample on a Thursday night.
Trample
is kind of crazy. It's like super overwhelming because there's so many people.
How many people do it? Like 70?
70 to 100, sometimes over 100.
Wow. There's a thing in Birmingham on Thursday nights called Trample that Redemptive Cycles do, which is where I bought my bike. So they probably love if I came. But
that's where I've bought 2 of my bikes.
They just like ride, like, where do they go? Like they just ride, they have a loop.
When I did it, I think they have different loops. When I did it, we rode out from Redemptive past like where Birmingham Southern is and stopped at a park near whatever that field is.
Yeah.
What's the baseball field over there?
Rickwood.
We stopped somewhere over there and then came back. Cool. And it's at night. Oh, scary. West Birmingham, but like you're with 100 people, so not really.
Yeah, I feel like that is actually so sick. Yeah, the guys that work in there. One dude told me he was a commuter and he commutes 8 miles
Was it D?
I don't know his name. I think it was, though.
D's like the main dude. He's always there. And I
the
see
dude with the beard that kind of looks like Van Neistat?
Yeah.
Other guy then.
Okay.
Short dude. Long beard. D helped me the second time I went.
D's awesome. He probably doesn't remember me, but I knew him at a time because I used to go in there all the time. And
what if, like, in a few seconds, you're just like, yeah, you know, D's nuts.
That would have been funny. But I wasn't.
But you were being just sincere and I'm being an idiot.
I was being real. Hey, so tell us about Saturday morning, Elliott.
Okay, so today we really want to just process via pod how amazing this weekend was.
So Blake and Steven and I drove up Friday, came back Saturday.
Yeah.
Went up to Cincinnati.
Came back Sunday.
Sunday, that's what I meant.
But we go up Friday, and we were planning on going up. We made the decision like last week because Elijah officially asked us, or Elijah was kind of indecisive about when the grand opening of this thing was going to be. Yeah. And he finally decided, and he texted us, and he's like, grand opening officially July, what was it, like 18th or something like that, whatever Saturday was.
20th maybe.
Yeah, 20th. And he was like, both of y'all are wanted as DJs. And I was like, I texted Myres. I wanted to do it, but, you know, we want to do a lot of things. Cincinnati, whatever. Texted Myres, and I was like, yo, Gracie's working. I don't have anything going on. Like, what's stopping us? And you were like, let me check with Claire. Checked with Claire. Bang. It was very yeehaw.
Canceled my Chez reservation.
I didn't know that. Dang, that's a bummer.
No, it's good.
Worth every bit of it, though.
Yeah.
But we were like, all right, let's freaking do it. And then on, like, Thursday, last week, like, or 2 days before we left, Blake texted in a group chat that we have, and he was just like, he's like, yo, is anybody going to Elliott? And then we were like, yeah, we are. You want to come? And he thought we were joking. And then we were like, no, for real. Like, let's do it.
Like, we're leaving on Friday.
Yeah. So Blake, like, last minute hopped in. It was awesome.
We're really glad he did that.
Yeah, it's the first time that we've been able to spend, like, extended time with Blake in a long, long time, which is just super cool. And it's funny because we had ideas to do a podcast, 2 episodes with Blake, 1 episode with Cam, and 1 episode at the opening thing. And then we did 0.
We didn't do any of them. Yeah, so sorry to Instagram followers because we made it out like we were going to do a live podcast from Elliott, and we were zonked.
And you will totally understand after we tell the story. But we have, like, we get there, and well, actually, I guess more context. I texted Elijah, and I was like, we want to so bad, but, like, okay, where should we stay? Because let's just say that we're not on the spontaneous Airbnb budget yet.
Yeah.
I don't really know if anybody ever gets to that point unless you're just like a billionaire. But anyways, we were like, we can't do that. So, and he was just like, hey, not sure it's going to work out at my house. So like Airbnb might be the choice. And I was like, man. So then I texted Cam, who was my roommate in seminary, one of my best friends. Texted Cam and I was like, yo, thinking about going to Cincinnati next weekend for Elliott's grand opening, kind of last minute, but would you want to go? And he was like, because his parents live there. And he was like, it's crazy you say this, wild circumstance, but I'm going to be there because I'm playing in a golf tournament with my dad. Which, knowing Cam, not surprising at all. But I was just like, the odds that it was on the same weekend is just dope. So I was like, no way. Is there any way that we could stay with you? He was like, yes. I was like, let's go. So we got a free place to stay.
So we're locked and loaded, 3 buddies in the car, place to stay.
Blake and us just have not had time to spend together like that long in forever.
Yeah.
Because we each haven't lived in the same city in forever. But it was just like, it was healing in a lot of ways to spend that much time with Blake.
Yeah. Sometimes
it's awesome
when you have best friends and life goes on and you're busy, you just need to take the time and go spend freaking 17 hours in the car with him.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Myres.
Yeah.
It was a great time. Blake is genuinely one of the funniest dudes.
Yeah, to give context, on our drive up, it took us maybe 9 hours.
Yeah.
Because of a bunch of traffic
and issues. Added 3 hours. Traffic added 3 hours. Thanks, Nashville.
And we talked for like 8.5 of those hours. We didn't listen to music until like the final push at the end.
And when we did listen to music, we just listened to BBL Drizzy like 100 times. We probably listened to BBL Drizzy probably like legit 50 times this weekend. BBL Drizzy! And we did that opera just freaking solo opera, BBL Drizzy, so much.
It was
awesome.
We listened to The Difference by Toro, Imoa, and the Flume. That's a great song.
Great song.
And then we went to Skyline Chili.
Skyline Chili. Okay, so anyways, let's not skip over this drive.
Okay.
This drive, I was like, let's get in the car at noon. We'll get there at like 7 p.m. It's going to be epic.
Yeah. Because we mapped it from here. It was like 6.5 hours, 6 hours 15, something like that, wherever we mapped it.
And straight up,
and it's Easter time over there.
We are like, we're moving fine, whatever. We get into Tennessee, and straight up, like, Nashville is still 25 miles away, and we're just like standstill traffic for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you might be thinking, it's probably just like a wreck. It was weird. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Why should there be that much traffic? Nope. We just got 20 miles. Like we were probably in traffic for maybe 1 mile, 2 miles. And then it just opened up.
And you might think we're exaggerating with the time, and we can prove that it was an hour because we were in traffic. We're sitting around. What are we supposed to do? Let's call Elijah.
Yep.
Get on the phone with Elijah. Talking to Elijah for 45 minutes. Get off the phone. About 10 minutes maybe after that.
Yeah, literally. Call with Elijah. Timestamp on my phone, 57 minutes.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So then we were driving through Nashville, and earlier that day I had talked about how we could stop there for coffee because, I don't know, Nashville's got some good coffee.
Yep.
And we get off on the interstate. We get some coffee at Sump. If you're ever in Nashville, great spot. SUMP. Sump.
Sump.
It's a very nice spot. It's a very bougie area. It was also raining there, and there was a beach volleyball court outside, and there's people playing beach volleyball in the rain.
Yep. On a Friday afternoon.
Seems very, let's just say sticky. Como se dice sticky? Sticky. And so we get out of the car there. We get back in the car after we get Sump, these glorious drinks, and then we're trying to get back on the interstate to get on. It takes us probably 30 minutes. We were in downtown Nashville, to be fair. But it probably takes us 30 minutes to get back on the interstate from Sump. It was like so frustrating. But anyways, we finally get back on, and Elijah calls us. Ironically enough, when we were stuck in that specific traffic too, in the 30 minutes.
Yeah, it took us like this weird way through like some suburbs to finally get back to the interstate, and there was still traffic there.
Yeah, it's tough. But Elijah calls us, and he's like, "Yo, we need to come up with our one day only drink for our grand opening." And he was like, "We have 10 pounds of cold brew. What should we make?" And I was like,
so much cold brew.
Cold brew? Like, what?
Yeah.
And so we like brainstorm all these like cold foam ideas, because I feel like that's just kind of what you do with cold brew. You make some sort of like cold brew concentrate, and then you make some sort of
cold foam something.
You just pour cold foam on top of it. It's amazing. Ever been to Starbucks, Elijah?
Nom nom nom.
So it was a great idea, and then that we were like the reason that we're doing this is so that we can kind of deter people from getting espresso drinks. So it needs to be quick. We're trying to save time. Making cold foam,
because we know it's going to be a busy day, so cold brew you can just whoosh, it's done. Before they even stick their phone up to tap and pay.
And cold foam takes, probably 30 to 45 seconds to make.
Something like that.
It gets backed up if you have a lot of tickets, right? Yeah. So we were like, no, that's maybe not it. And then I was like, honestly, dude, like, cold brew and lemonade tastes amazing. And he was like, really? He had never had it before. And Elijah's been in coffee for like 7 billion years. Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
He's one of our most coffee friends.
Yeah, he's definitely a coffee guy. But he tries it, or Timmy, the legend himself, is like the guy's starting the coffee shop with.
Opening with Elijah. First employee,
yeah. Well, I guess Elijah was the first employee. Timmy's tied for first, though. But
Elijah's owner, Timmy's first employee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the cold brew lemonade was like a hit, and then we put like a little bit of honey into it as well, and we called it the Campbell County Cold Brew.
It's fire.
And Campbell County is the county that Elliott is in Dayton, Kentucky, so that was that. And it was really tasty, and they probably sold 50 of them. Yep. It was awesome.
Bunches.
So, they definitely didn't use all their cold brew concentrate, but also like they're going to use it at some point. Cold brew concentrate can last like a week. So anyways, it was sick. That was our second call. And then we got back on the interstate, and then we drove 4 more hours.
Yep.
Through Kentucky. I didn't realize this until we were about halfway through Kentucky. because the time on our drive just kept getting lower and lower and lower. And I was like, we're still in Kentucky. And then I realized whenever we get there that like I said earlier, Ohio, Cincinnati, like there's a river in the middle of downtown Cincinnati, and south of the river is Kentucky, north of the river is Ohio. So it's pretty like Cincinnati's pretty much
state border.
in Kentucky.
Yeah,
which is kind of wild. There's a lot of weirdness of like that is the Mason-Dixon line, so they were trying to explain that to us. So
yeah.
Kentucky's
There's like a weird like
south
sort of southern country vibe in Kentucky, and then like a northern Midwestern vibe in Cincinnati.
Straight up to all the Midwestern listeners, I don't understand like what you are. I don't understand Midwest culture.
What are you?
It seems like the lack of.
Yeah.
It just seems like everything's good, like everything's all right, but it. Like, I feel like in the South, it's like you still have the everything's good, everything's all right. Like, we have freaking Chipotle and Panera Bread. That just, like, seems like all that they have in the Midwest. But in the South, it's like, I don't know. It's just fun to have, like, rodeos and college football. And
Cincinnati was cool, though. I think it was a lot more historical.
Yeah.
Because I think Cincinnati is supposedly kind of an old city.
Yeah, it seemed super like historic.
I was getting a lot of so a lot of the houses there are skinny 2-story
like
buildings,
San Francisco vibes.
like San Francisco vibes, except for that they're not connected.
Yeah, they don't touch each other,
which is really strange. So you're driving around and you just see these like I don't know 18-foot wide houses that are 2 stories tall. It was really strange, but it looked really cool. And we like went up on this little knoll where there was a church.
Good word. It's called Mount Adams.
Yeah, Mount Adams that overlooks the city.
Yeah.
We went up there, saw the view, went to this little cool bar called the Blind Lemon.
Yeah, the Blind Lemon. Blind Lemon was sick.
It was super cool. Just kind of posted up, hung out with the fellas and Ibby.
Dude, but let's not skip over our first event of the night.
Yeah, we went to Skyline Chili.
We pull up. It's like, dark. We pull up in the city about 9:30.
Yeah.
And we are right beside the University of Cincinnati in this cool little area called like Covington and the corner store.
Clifton,
that's what it was. And corner store, you just see the beautiful signage, Skyline Chili. I've always had a fascination with this. I've always wanted to go. Myres doesn't really seem to have been the biggest fan of it, I'll be honest with you.
To contextualize what this place was, imagine if Waffle House, instead of being centered around waffles and yummy breakfast items, was centered around chili, equal parts chili and cheddar cheese.
Yeah,
and
equal
every
parts
dish,
is a good word.
every dish is equal parts chili, Cincinnati chili, which is like very ground up.
Yeah, it's like
and cheddar cheese.
Their chili has cocoa and cinnamon in it.
Yeah,
which adds this like super interesting, like, cause chili has this like savory kind of spicy vibe, but also like the sweet, and it's on top of a bed of spaghetti.
Yeah, that was the weird part. So I had a coney, which is just a small hot dog with chili and cheese. That was fine. I don't love hot dogs, but I was like, coney, Skyline chili, blah, good. Yeah, it's fine. The spaghetti thing really threw me off. Yeah. And as soon as I took the first bite, so I was instructed, this is like the thing you get, is like the bed of noodles with the chili and the cheese on top, and you eat it with the crackers. Yeah. The oyster crackers they had were crazy good, so tasty. Yeah. But the chili on noodles thing was weird, because it was like you were eating spaghetti, but it's not really tomatoey spaghetti, and also there's like a mound of cheddar cheese on top, and if I have spaghetti, I want like mozzarella Italian vibes, and this was like weird.
It's definitely weird.
It was really weird to me.
I think I was telling someone, I was trying to explain it to Maddie.
I think I have a picture, so I'll put it on our Instagram so you can go reference.
Yeah. I think I was talking to Maddie and Chase and Cole, my team that y'all know the few episodes back. You know those guys know. I was trying to explain it to them, and I was like, I could imagine if you lived in Cincinnati and it was like 15 degrees outside, and it's just such like a hearty, warm meal. I imagine it would just, and like when you go in and order it, it's ready in 30 seconds. Like it came out immediately, because everything's just like, because chili, you just keep it in a pot and keep it going, and it's just cheese and noodles.
And so you just plop, 2, 3 on your
bang
on
plate
your
to you. So I imagine like historically back in the 40s, like super like industrial city, people coming in so cold.
Yeah.
And they just are like, give me some freaking Skyline chili. And it's just a super cheap, easy way to get a lot of calories and a lot of like food. And it wasn't bad. It was super weird though. Yeah. I imagine that if I lived there, I would eat it once.
It'd be like
I would eat it 0.5 to 3 times a year. Yeah. That would be my guess. Because Elijah and Cam eat it and Ibby. Apparently Ibby, Ibby liked it a lot, but Elijah and Cam, I mean, they eat it like, from my understanding, they eat it like more than once a year. Like it's not like all the time. Yeah, it definitely would never reach like Chick-fil-A or like Chipotle or something like that for me. Like it would be like a occasional thing.
It was really hard for me to separate it from the concept of Waffle House because like the menus look the same, the same kind of like old diner ratchet. Yeah, you look and see some weird people at the bar there, dude. Same kind of vibe as Waffle House.
I also was talking to someone about it at Elliott the next day, and I was like, I don't know if y'all have these here. We have Waffle House in the South, and they were like, oh yeah, we have that too. Yeah, and I was like, why in the world would you ever go there instead of Waffle House? That's my only, because it scratches the same itch. Yeah, I guess Waffle House, I feel like in the past 2 years has gotten busier. I feel like it's hard to get a seat in Waffle House. Yeah, Waffle House is gas though.
I love Waffle House. I did not love Skyline.
Yeah, Skyline. Anyways, we can move on.
But we went. Yeah, we went to the Little Knoll. Then we saw the Lookout. We actually stayed up kind of late.
Yeah, we went to bed at like 1:30 or 2. It was kind of. We don't do that these days. So it was really fun.
It was fun, but it was also a bad idea because we got up the next day at like 6 to go open the cafe,
and we did probably the busiest cafe I've ever done in my life on 5 hours of sleep. Yeah, but we get down to Cafe Elliott like 6:30 a.m. We are just kind of, I mean, in a lot of ways, like we're helping out in such random ways, but feel like for the first 2 hours we were kind of twiddling our thumbs, just like checking it out, drinking different coffee drinks. Yeah, we had like our meal that morning. What do they call it? Family meal?
Yeah, it's a restaurant term. Yeah. I assume you know, but when a restaurant opens, at 6 for dinner, they'll usually do like a family meal at 4 where the whole staff gets there, somebody cooks something, or they do like a potluck, and then you go through the menu, and it's like a high. If you've watched The Bear, you would know. Yeah, yeah. But we did like a family breakfast with like this lazy French toast with jam, and
it was so pretty. It was so good. It was so
ham on it.
But we told Elijah, we were like, bro, like we are free labor all day.
Also, it's funny because we said this like when he first said he was opening a cafe. I remember having a conversation with him that went something like, when you open this cafe, like, we will come and be free labor to help you. Yeah. Like, whatever it takes, we want to help you do this. Yeah. And obviously, we're limited by not living in the city and having other jobs, but, like, we'll come for a weekend and help you. And then we also later on joked, like, me and Steven should go do a DJ set, even though I've never done that, and you have done it, like, once or twice at the time.
That was my fourth one.
At the time
it was, like, once, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, both of those were uncertain things until like 2 weeks ago when he texted us and said, "Come on."
Yeah, it was great. It was just great to see like how the fruition of it all, and the fact that it was funny. I was re-listening to his Valor podcast the other day. Elijah was on Valor's podcast like 2 years ago. Coffee Sometimes, and he talked about it's almost like to the date. He said 2 years from now, I'd love to be like starting my own space. Yeah. And like he's literally started his own space.
Started his own cafe. Yeah.
But we get down there and then like 7 o'clock rolls around. It opened.
I think it opened at 8.
Yeah. So
we're like helping them open, put chairs out,
go into the stores to buy rags.
Yeah.
And
buy ice. Oranges and make sure we have everything.
And then about like 9 o'clock rolls around and we're like, I was just like sitting outside, like having another cup of, it was like my third cup of coffee that morning. And then the line just like started piling up. And then Elijah out of nowhere was just like, all right, I'm going to get Steven to sub in on espresso and we're going to get things going. And I thought I was going to sub in for like 10 minutes. Yeah. Because that's usually in the shops that I've worked at in the past, like rushes are no longer than 30 minutes. Yeah. And, partly because of efficiency, but also just because of volume. It's just not that big. And then literally 2 hours later, I had pulled like 100 or 150 shots of espresso, and I like looked up. There's still like a line wrapped around the corner. The music was like so good. They had these 2 guys that Saudi and dude, you know what I learned the other day? Andrew Nair, not Nair.
Oh wow.
Andrew Nair listened to our podcast episode where we talked to him after
No
the Elijah
way.
wedding. Yes.
Wow. That's
Hilarious.
crazy. I wonder, I would love to talk to him about that now because we went on and on and on about him.
I mean, literally, and he said Elijah told me that Andrew sampled you and me saying his last name wrong because he wants to make a beat that says like "say my name right" or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And then there was another thing that said you had a quote in there that was like Andrew Nair is like or I said like he's a globally recognized industrial designer, and you said not globally, definitely nationally. And he had sampled that quote from you, like not globally, definitely nationally.
Yeah,
and as like a diss towards him in the track, which I think is so.
That's hilarious.
So funny.
Because certainly it's, I now would say definitely globally because I've seen his stuff on like the local project and like all over the place. I mean, sorry, Andrew Nair for saying your name wrong a million times. Which also, like, no one ever corrected me.
Yeah, including
or you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know until Elijah was making fun of me for saying it.
Like, we've said that to Elijah and to a bunch of other people who know him.
Yeah. Also, dude, Timmy, it was so funny. Timmy called you Myre.
He did call me Myre. He called me Myre for half the day.
After you did that for about an hour and a half straight, I looked at him and I was like, Timmy, like he's not going to tell you because you're so busy right now, but his name is Myres, like plural. Yeah. And he was like, oh, I'm such an idiot.
No. I introduced myself and I said Myres. And that happens sometimes. Like when I talk to people on the phone, sometimes they can't hear me or, you know, phone conversations are bad. And so they'll call me Myre or Mark.
Mark.
Somehow they get to Mark from Myres. So I have these like old ladies on the phone being like, Mark, can you put me in touch with Alan, please? I just let it slide. But anyway, so yeah, you're slinging Spro. I was out there.
Running drinks.
There's like a window that opens. Yeah, there's like a window that opens, and so I was running drinks. So Timmy and I were interacting a lot.
Yeah, and you were running drinks, and then like the affogato, we tried to keep the ice cream in the ice bin, and it kept melting. It was like terrible, and so we tried to put it in the freezer, and then every single time somebody ordered an affogato, we would just be like, affogato, and Myres would just like run around the corner, take it out of the freezer, bring it in. We would get one scoop, and then he would take it back. Yeah. And then, so in the midst of it all, it was like, it genuinely was like, me and Blake looked at each other. We were halfway through it, and we were like, we are not getting paid right now, and this is the funnest we have ever had working in our life. Because it was just
the bar was so small.
So small.
I'll post a picture if I remember. So tiny bar. And there were 4 grown, like over 6 feet tall men squeezed in there. Basically couldn't move, but would like reach around. Blake doing dishes, you pulling espresso, Timmy. Like if you turned around, you had to tell everyone what you were doing. Yeah,
if you looked at Elliott's Instagram and you saw the huge coffee stain on Timmy's shirt, it's definitely because of what.
Yeah, you like reached across. And he messed up. He like made a drink for here and then was trying to swap it to a to-go. And then you like reached in front of him in that process and he just spilled like half a cappuccino on his shirt.
But later in the day, he did it to me too. So that made me feel better about myself.
Yeah, no, it was so cramped in there.
But no, sorry for that one person who got 10 ounces or 2 ounces less in their to-go drink because I spilt it on the floor.
It's fine.
No, it was such an awesome thing, and and then
so Andrew Nair and Saudi are doing DJ sets on vinyl, and then there's 2 people doing pancakes and bacon on like a Blackstone. And so like, cool.
I mean, there was legit like a line of like 15 to 30 people for
literally 4 or 5
hours. It was awesome. So, and then I finished on the bar. Myres subbed in, and by bar that's a coffee shop term for you're working the espresso machine.
Yeah.
So I get off bar and then I walk over to start my set, and I like am on like my brain.
What was your DJ name?
Oh yeah, my DJ name was Airplane Legroom.
Mm-hmm.
That's always gonna be my. I think that's such a good DJ name. I came up with it
good.
completely randomly.
Yeah.
And Myres' DJ name was
Concrete Salesman.
which is again like an amazing name. Like we need to start doing sets here, even if no one comes, it'll still be fun. That's what I love about DJ. Honestly, the more people that come, the less fun it gets.
Honestly,
maybe if that would change after a certain number, there's really a J curve there.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's like super fun.
Super fun with like no one.
Yeah.
Then like not that fun with like 10 people.
Yeah.
And then like boiler room.
I imagine if you had like 300 people in the room, it would be like
if you had 300 people
nuts.
in your house in this space, that'd be crazy. That'd be boiler room vibes.
Gracie, do you care if we do a DJ set inside in this house? She said no. Okay,
yes.
Deal. All right. Well, look out for Airplane Legroom and Concrete Salesman.
We're doing it.
DJ set in my home soon. We could do it in the crawl space underneath the house. my neighbors would be so mad. It was funny. One time, Zion's band, they were like, hey, we need a place to warm up for our set in Birmingham. Do you care if we do it in your living room? And I was like, I mean, sure. And then they literally, you could hear it across the whole neighborhood. Yeah. Like they plugged in their amps. I was like, okay, sick. So, but anyways, got to DJ at Elliott, and it was literally hilarious. I was trying to take my speakers in from my car, and I was just like, I feel like, I don't know if your computer's ever overheated because of RAM overdrive, but that happens to every single barista, every single shift. There's just so much random thing.
If your brain had RAM, which is the capacity to like do multiple tasks.
Random Access Memory, great song, great album by freaking, what's the dudes with the helmets that we were talking about all weekend? Daft Punk. But Random Access Memory. But I feel like I was just like RAM overdrive, and I'm walking in, and I just like slam this dude in the shoulder with one of my speakers. After insisting to Andrew that I didn't need help. It was so embarrassing. So anyways, I went over there and set up and DJ'd for, literally 10 minutes after I worked for 2 straight hours on the bar. I just immediately was like, I have to DJ for an hour and a half. And I did it. It was super fun. And then it finally started to die down around 1 o'clock. And then we went, and afterwards, we were me and Blake and Myres were just so tired. We just laid on the ground. Also, I totally skipped over this. Myres came and subbed me out, and then he started DJing, and then it started dying down, and everybody kind of left. And then the only people left in the room that he was DJing in were just 6-year-olds.
Yeah,
so then
there's
Myres
a
started
little family
DJing for 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
He put I was trying to keep in my pants.
Yeah, I was keeping it
awesome.
a low key, not even, I don't even know if it's house vibe, but I was trying to play to the speed of the bar, and when you were going, you were playing super upbeat bassline stuff. Yeah, and we're cranking out drinks, and it was awesome. And then when I came on, the line had died down, and people were kind of just chilling around. So I was just trying to play a set the vibe, set the mood, low key. Yeah. And then I kind of realized I could probably not do this, and it wouldn't matter. But then I saw these little kids coming in. And so I started messing around with them and playing some dancey,
gotta have some good times, man.
Silly tunes. And then once they left, I kind of just stopped because I was tired, and we just hit shuffle on a playlist.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
But after that was the last event of the day because everybody had sold out of pretty much everything, and then we were just sitting, laying down on the concrete, just so tired from the day. And then Elijah and Ibby and Asa were very kind and took us to get probably the best taco truck I've ever had in my life. Yeah, that was the best steak quesadilla I've ever had. Bellevue, right? Yep. Which is a town also in Kentucky, right beside Ohio. To Dayton. And then we went to this place called Schneider's, which is this super old ice cream store, and I got a peanut butter shake. And it was just a great little afternoon. And then we went back to Cam's house, and Blake, we couldn't figure out how to get into Cam's house, and so Blake had to poop in the woods. Yep, that was so Elijah. So Cameron, if you're hearing this right now, there is definitely a Blake Dookie in the woods beside your house. Yeah, and the little trees that block the road. But we just swam in his pool, and it was awesome. Oh, we just chilled in the pool. He showed up with his parents and Pookie. Lady Pookie. What's her name? Katie. Yeah. Katie was a chiller. She's a chiller. Yeah. I talked to Jay. Yeah, you did.
Joe.
You talked shop with Jay.
Joe.
Jay.
Yeah,
Jay
I talked
Lisa.
shop with Jay for, I mean, literally like the whole night.
Yeah.
We sat out there and talked for like 2 hours. I probably talked to him for an hour and 40 minutes.
It was funny because you were like wearing your. I mean,
I
think
had
they're cool swim trunks, but
yellow.
they're like Miami neon yellow, super short swim
Yeah.
trunks, shirtless, and he like just came back from a
golf tournament.
Yeah. And y'all were talking like business and medical world and money and all this stuff, and you're just shirtless. Like,
yeah, it was funny.
And then he gave you a book.
He gave me a book.
I
was asking him about I don't know. I study and am so interested in so many different topics, and so I always like to talk to people who are much older to learn more from their life experience more than just like talking about ideas and stuff like that. And so I was asking him about his experience in the medical world, and he has a family and spends a lot of time with his grandkids and stuff like that. And how do you balance that with being a doctor and working hard? And
he's also one of those guys when you see him, you're just like, yeah, this guy's successful.
Yeah,
like he just kind of looks. He has that vibe.
He's got the confidence. He's like, yeah, I'm a killer.
Yeah, yeah.
But
he kind of gave Shane vibes a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly,
just like a very like chill, good time. Not trying to do too much.
Yeah. But he was awesome. He was really smart. He knew a lot about medical world, obviously, because he works in it. I think the most interesting thing I asked him about, I said, I don't remember how we got to it, but we started talking about anxiety and stuff like that. I think he said he thinks that part of why we have an obesity crisis or epidemic or whatever you would call it is because people stress eat and they eat when they're anxious.
Interesting.
And I said, well, what do you think makes people so anxious and depressed and dealing with that kind of stuff? And he was like, well, it depends on the generation, which I thought was also interesting because we always think about people our age and younger who are on their phones all the time. But he said for older people, they're looking back on their life and they have a lot of regrets. And they might be like, well, why didn't I start, putting my money in the 401k at 25 like everybody told me to? And now I'm not sure if I have enough to retire. And they get anxious about that kind of thing. And they're just looking up and it's, the latter half of their life and they're worried for their own future and regret things they've done in the past. And then you get to the middle generation and most of those people have kids. And so they're just worried about their kids and worried that something's going to go awry and they're not going to take care of them right or they're going to end up, crazy or something. And then for the younger people like us, a lot of it is cell phone use and comparison and scared of the world. And
that's a good theory. I think that's like a fascinating thing where if I have a bad day, I mean, this is just straight up true. Like if I have a hard day or a bad day, I'm much more likely to get like Domino's and like eat ice cream.
And so a lot of people, it's a compulsive eating thing, and weight tends to come on slowly. I think he said on average every year after high school you gain 1 to 2 pounds, and then you reach 45, and all of a sudden that's a lot of pounds.
Yep.
And
heard that.
Yeah. And anyway, I kind of see a shift I think happening in our generation. Hopefully that people
feel like
care a lot more about health.
Is like a thing now. Like I was thinking about this yesterday because I got to sneeze.
There it is.
But thank you, Gracie. Gracie just said bless you. But I like posted like for the college ministry. I was like, for every person that likes this or shares this post to their story, puts their name in a hat to get a popsicle. In parentheses, everyone else will also get popsicles.
That's funny.
Just because I hate captions and I needed one, and that's the first thing that kind of gave me a little funny vibe in my brain. And I was like, man, like if there's somebody out there who's like on a big health kick, popsicles wouldn't be incentive for them to come at all.
Right.
Not that captions or Instagram shit. I'm not trying to get anybody weirdly manipulative incentives to get people to come to church, but it did cross my mind. I was like, man, like there's probably like some church in Birmingham that's like Bible study, then a 13-mile run tonight or something, and that's like their community of people, which is just fascinating because I think there's like such a big health thing going on in young people right now.
Yep,
taking care of yourself, like being sober is like a bigger thing.
Yeah,
not
a
in
lot
the
of
church world,
no more drinking.
Yeah, no, not even in the ministry or like religion world.
Yeah,
which is super fascinating. But anyways, we really got sidetracked there.
So
Back to
the next day we go to bed that night.
Yeah.
Next day we got up. Coffee
called.
Coffee called.
Coffee crawled.
Thank you.
And it was awesome. All the cafes were dope. Proud Hound and Mom and Nims, which is Mom N apostrophe E or Mom apostrophe N apostrophe E M apostrophe S. Yep. It's Mom and Them's.
Yep.
Slang.
And I think it's because it's a mom and her 2 sons.
Yeah, the Ferrari brothers.
Yep.
Their last name is Ferrari, which is dope.
Sick.
But it was cool. Both of those places are beautiful. Mom and Nims was like their outdoor space and indoor space. It was just beautiful. And then we went over to Elijah's house, and I just like Elijah and Ibby are just so hospitable and so awesome. And they like played piano and we, drank coffee and we also went to Brown Bear, which is a bakery. Cool. If you're ever in Ohio, 2 places you need to go: Brown Bear, Elliott, and then get food at Proud Hound or Mom and Nims.
Yeah. If you're in Birmingham, Proud Hound was kind of like if Hero Donuts had more primary colors.
Yeah, honestly.
And was more focused on breakfast and had a Korean fusion vibe.
Mom and Nims is kind of like,
I don't really know what to compare them to.
Luca, but like more. It was like if Luca instead of being Italian was like LL Bean, like canned fish and burgers.
Yeah,
and coffee.
More coffee, less Italian.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was the same kind of. It was green. It was really pretty. Yeah, both those places were super pretty. But altogether, I mean, it was an unbelievably good weekend. I love Elijah, Knapp. I love Cincinnati. I'm a big Cincinnati guy now. It's not like I wasn't a Cincinnati guy before. I think I was the lack of anything towards Cincinnati before. But now I'm like, anytime anybody says Cincinnati, I'd be like, dude, that place is pretty sick. It was way cooler than I thought it was.
It's cool.
Or I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty funny. I was talking to Gunner, and Gunner went up there. He's working for this company called Revel XP right now, which is this company in Birmingham that builds and sets up like luxury field suites for football stadiums, and they also build ADA wheelchair seats for handicapped people at football games or stadiums. And it was funny hearing, because he was in Cincinnati for 2 weeks or for a week and a half, just staying in a hotel room, and just like building this thing at the University of Cincinnati. And then he was just in his hotel room watching YouTube like every night. He never left. He went to a Reds game alone. This is the only thing he did.
That's crazy.
And then the last night he was there, he said that he had heard so much about Skyline Chili that he got it DoorDashed.
Wow.
It just sounds horrible.
That is terrible. Hey, Gunner, no offense, man, but get out there, man. Go do some stuff.
But I was like, man,
that's kind of I enjoy. I've only done that like once, maybe twice. Go to a city alone and just find stuff to do. I don't know if I'd count this, but when we were in Boulder for Christian's wedding, I was in town during the rehearsal dinner. I got in town basically when y'all started. Yeah. So I just like put my bags in your car and walked around Boulder. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then one time I got a job for a company in Nashville for like 3 months. It didn't last very long. It wasn't very fun. But they brought me up there and like put me up in a nice hotel for a weekend. Yeah. And so not even a weekend. It was like a Monday through a Wednesday or something. But I walked around downtown Nashville and went to like a cool local grocery store and went to coffee shops. And
it's kind of like us whenever we were in freaking Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah. You just kind of like go do stuff.
Way cooler than it should be.
Yeah.
That's probably the city out of all cities I've been to, except for Marfa, Texas. That's like shouldn't be. There's no reason for cool stuff to be there.
But there is cool stuff
There's cool stuff there. But no, altogether, it was awesome. I love Elliott. You should go.
Love Elijah and Ibby. Love Asa. Love Timmy.
Yeah, we really just wanted to jump on here today and have a nice little
hash it out.
Nice little chat. Just processing it. Thinking about things, talking about it.
My thought process was we would do this anyway if we had a guest on, so we might as well just talk about it ourselves.
Yeah.
Because when you went to Hawaii, we came back and just talked about Hawaii the whole time.
Literally.
So,
who was on that week? Was it just me?
Cole.
Cole Edens, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this weekend, you and Blake, I think you're gonna get a soda.
Me and Cole and Blake, I think, are gonna hang out.
Let's go.
And then might not be ending up on a Summer Boys episode.
And then apparently Dave Domestic's gonna get back on the pod.
Yeah, he texted me he's not coming in town this weekend.
Yeah,
so
but he's moving.
At some point, he's coming over.
I think he's moving back like August 1 or August 15th. So
yeah,
he'll be
and
back
then we
sooner or
want to
later.
do Lane. We want to do. We got a bunch of people.
There's a
We
lot
need
of
to start.
fun things
We need to
going on.
start actually scheduling all of this stuff.
Yeah, summer vibes have been
Low key.
sporadic.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, if you've hung out with us this long, we love you so much. We love you so much. We love you so much.
Kiss on the mouth.
We're just so happy that y'all came on today. You logged on to Spotify. It always makes you log on when you get onto Spotify, kids.
Hey, if you made it this far, get on YouTube and make fun of me for messing with this stool with my feet the entire time.
Yep. If you made it this far, go ahead and here's your weekly homework. Send it to a friend.
Ooh.
Send it to a friend who you know in Cincinnati.
Send it to Elijah. If you have Elijah's number, send this episode to Elijah.
If you're in Birmingham, go to Niki's West and say, hey, I heard about you on a podcast this week. You should definitely sponsor them because I am the mark of consumer behavior.
Right.
And it would be worth your investment because you would get ROI, return on investment.
Return on investment.
And that's today's Myres. We didn't have a single segment today.
No segments.
Wow.
Hey, it would be awesome if we had an extra section at the end where we could do an extra segment, but it's all we have for today. Sorry, guys. Gotta go.
Au revoir, mi amor. Welcome to the secret segment. BBL. I am gonna be honest. Gracie has to come up with what we're gonna be talking about. Actually, never mind. I have an idea. Today's secret segment is gonna be us discussing Gracie's answer to this very question. Gracie, will you walk over here so you can answer into the mic? Would you rather, for the rest of your life, be slippery or sticky?
Slippery.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. Every single person I've ever asked this question has said slippery. And do we have a mic?
Yeah, Gracie, can you grab that mic off the top of that bag over there?
Slippery is a fascinating answer to me because you couldn't, like, what would be more beneficial for the rest of your life? To never be able to hold on to anything, literally never be able to grab anything for the rest of your life, or like everything would slip out of your mouth. Is that on 3? Yeah, speak. Yeah. You're good. And I think it's super interesting because even though sticky would make you feel horrible all the time, you would still be able to like grab things for the rest of your life. But if you were like slippery, you would never be able to grab anything, but you would feel like your resting
How
state
slippery?
would be good. Like you would be able
to what degree of both?
Because when I think slippery versus sticky, I think like sweaty slippery.
Okay.
And then I think sticky,
So-
like you spilled honey on your hands.
This is what I'm going to judge. Okay, so think slippery. So say you had a cone in your hand. If the wide side was on top, you would still be able to hold it. But say that like if you had a triangle like cone in your hand, if the wider side was on top, you'd be able to hold it. But turn that cone into a cylinder and you're holding it. Like think if you had a hot dog wiener in your hand. You would never be able to hold anything.
It could be a glass, a soda can. Nope, it's a hot dog wiener.
The only way, what I'm trying to say is, the only thing you could ever hold would be if gravity was holding it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Anything else, you would know what you would
You've
have
got to
no
have some
friction.
kind of leverage.
Here
You would
are
have
my
no
thoughts.
friction. You would only have
I think
leverage.
that slippery is less ideal long term, sticky is less ideal short term.
What? Less
Do you
ideal.
have further?
I feel like that would
do you
be
have
the other way
further-
around.
Wait, did I say it wrong? I think
Slippery would be more ideal right now,
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that what I
Slippery
said?
and less ideal long term.
Yeah. Like long term, I'd
Yeah.
be so annoyed. But short term,
You'd be like, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm not sticky."
yeah. But then like long term, slippery would get so annoying.
Yeah, like you would be ugly for the rest of your life if you're sticky, because you every time you touch your hair, like every square centimeter of your body would be sticky. But if you're slippery, you could still like look cool, like you would still look pretty. But you wouldn't like you would still just
I don't
you
know. I
would be
think
able to
I'd
grab
still rather
anything.
be slippery though.
Every single time you tried to run, you'd slip and fall.
But
If you every time you tried to-
Do you have shoes on?
I mean, your feet would be slipping around inside your shoes.
still better than sticking to them. Like
I mean, maybe, but also maybe not. You wouldn't be able to run.
literally, like I get hot and bothered when I have anything sticky on my hands.
Yeah, but
I
that's
hate-
Wash them
I think that's
immediately.
something you could get over. I think you would get the peak of hot and bothered. Slippery is way higher than like the potential. What's the business term for that? Like the max yield.
No, I don't know what you're saying. I think slippery.
Have you
Did you-
guys? I have a different topic.
Yep.
Do you want to transition?
Yep. I do.
Go.
Well, when you told me I had an idea and then you took it away from me.
No.
Okay, go.
Now is your time.
Have you guys heard about the Olympics cardboard beds?
No.
This happens every single Olympics.
No.
What is it?
No.
It's true. It's to help them not have sex.
Yes, I told you this, but this is not in every Olympics thing. This is like a sustainability thing that they're doing. And they're literally made out of cardboard.
The beds?
The beds are made
The
out
bed
of cardboard,
frames.
and they break apart if more than one person lays on them. But they're
But apparently the
genuinely made of
hookup culture
cardboard.
amongst Olympians is like a real thing.
I've heard some really gross stories from Sochi
from
or
all
something.
the Olympians, you know.
Yeah, from all the Olympians I know.
Yeah,
Because
from
they have
Sochi,
it's Olympic.
the
You know,
Winter
they all
Olympics.
stay. They all
From
stay in.
Sochi.
They all stay in Olympic Village.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I heard some stories just about people like
Well-
sticking condoms everywhere and like.
Because most of the Olympians, like, you're not gonna win. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like a lot of the times, it's like
If like
Not that you go to the
Slovakia
Olympics for,
shows
like,
up to the
clout.
run track, like you're not winning.
Yeah, the United States and China are winning most events.
Even if you
Sure.
were gonna win.
even if you're
I could
from
still
America
see
and
how-
you barely make the cut, you like have never like you basically have no chance of winning. Or
Right.
something
Even
like
but
that.
even if you are gonna win, I could still see like what's that dude's name? The really
Michael
fast
Phelps.
guy for the he
Usain
runs
Bolt.
Usain
track.
Bolt.
No, he runs track for America. His name's like Troyez or Troy or something. I don't know.
Bolton.
Troy Bolton, that's his name. And he was like that guy. I for sure think he's trying to get some motion at
Maybe
the Olympics.
after. I don't know.
I don't know.
Dude, you know
sounds
that the Olympics,
gross.
like there was like the first Olympic events happened yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
When was the
Did you
opening
see that
ceremony?
The surfers
The
are
opening
literally
ceremonies?
in Taiwan. They're like not even in Paris. I mean, obviously there's no ocean in Paris. But
I feel like there would.
sad.
Yeah, that's weird.
Why is it sad?
It feels like they would be
Sad, but
somewhere.
The surfers they have to stay on a
Dude,
cruise ship.
Wouldn't
You
there
know
be?
what's
They're
weird to
staying
me?
on a cruise ship.
In LA, that's weird. In LA, whenever they have the Olympics there in 2026, they're doing kayaking in Oklahoma City.
That's
Whoa.
hilarious.
It's like there's kayaking in California.
Oh yeah.
Like, why are they doing that in Oklahoma
And
City?
like
good as
in
Oklahoma City.
Utah,
In Utah.
in Utah,
I love
and
Otah.
Oregon,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. There's so many states before you get to Oklahoma where for sure there's
No,
kayaking.
for sure. Why did they have to go halfway?
Why did they go across the halfway across the country?
I also think I don't know if this makes any sense. I feel like it's almost weird that like a sport like that, you have to compete on like a fake like river run. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yeah.
that's like it's almost strange to me. I'm like I feel like they should compete in the real deal.
Yeah.
Like if if surfers have to go to Taiwan, why can't you just build a fake kayak thing? Why can't you build a fake wave?
Yeah, that kind of feels more fair, too.
What?
Maybe that's not the
Is there not surfing off the coast of France? Doesn't
In
France have
Portugal?
two
tons of
coasts?
ocean around them. Like,
Maybe on
There's-
south of France, yeah.
like
There's
the
ocean on
Mediterranean.
both sides.
I guess they're just going to right now in like because like surfing's like definitely calendar based. Like
Sure.
right now they're probably just going to wherever has like the best championship waves or something. I don't know. Taiwan though, that's crazy. So I guess surfing Olympics is just kind of. It's also weird that surfing's in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins that? Like who do you think is the best surfer in it?
Hamilton.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm actually curious. Let's look
I
up
have no idea.
who
I don't know.
The Soul Surfer, obviously.
who won gold for surfing Olympic history.
How much do you want to bet that he has like dreads or at least hair to his shoulders?
He definitely has blonde hair.
Whoever this guy is.
Surfing
Unless you're looking up women
2020, a Brazilian guy named Atalo Ferreira,
surfing. What's his hair look like?
blonde tips, and then a
Close
Japanese
enough.
guy, Kanoa Igarashi, and then an Australian guy. And then the girl was a USA girl. Her name's Carissa Moore, South African, and then a Japanese girl.
Oh, what's a South African girl's name? I watched a documentary on a South African surfer.
The closest that a guy came was fifth, an American guy.
Mm.
And then John Florence, I do know who that is. He came in
Just
ninth.
totally ignored me.
Yeah, it's because I was doing something else. Okay, the South African girl, her name is Bianca Bootendog.
Bootendog. Bootendog. Bianca
Wait, do you have a picture
Bootendog.
It's irrelevant. Never mind.
Anything? I mean, I can't even see her over here. So,
It's fine.
the person who came in dead last in 19th place was a Peruvian girl, and then the person who came in dead last for this was an Argentinian guy named Leandro Usuna. Fascinating guy. There's a lot of Peruvians. There's also an Indian bloke in here. That's fascinating. New Zealand, that makes sense. There's a French guy. That means there has to be surfing in France, right?
Well, no, they travel the world to like go find the best waves, so probably doesn't matter.
I still just have a hard time believing there's no surfing off the
Like-
coast of France. Because aren't there two coasts?
Yes.
Isn't there a north and a south
Italy
coast?
is the boot. Oh,
And
wait.
how
No,
is
that's Italy.
yeah.
Sorry, I said that.
Why is surfing in Taiwan?
Yeah, and why is it in Taiwan and not any other European
Taiwan
country?
sits strategically north of the Philippines and southwest of Japan and is in perfect position to score the back-to-back swells that result from the northern hemisphere winter storms.
Oof. Isn't Taiwan the one that got like really wiped out like a couple years ago?
Yeah, that sounds right.
What?
Like a really bad
By like a
thing?
tidal
the
wave.
one?
There-
Is Taiwan the one?
Yeah, there's like a
You
big
got-
like tidal wave or something that hit them.
Yeah.
Are they the ones that
What?
that
The one of what? Like,
The country.
she said that got wiped out? Aren't they the ones that like China wants to take back as Chinese land or something? Aren't they at war?
Oh gosh.
I think
You're asking
Taiwan
the
actually
wrong
is the
person.
one. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's in Tahiti. Oh my gosh. The Paris Olympics. Why is and Tahiti is freaking in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I think.
Are
What-
Taiwan and Tahiti close together?
Where's
Where are both of those places?
I thought Tahiti was.
Tahiti is one of the Polynesian islands because we learned about it at the Polynesian Cultural Center.
I don't think so.
I have no idea how because we literally went to Disney World and one of the villages was called Tahiti. How do you
Was
not
it
remember
really?
that?
Okay. I don't
Yes,
know.
it's
I'm
like-
wrong. I'm sorry.
It's south of Hawaii by.
Oh.
I mean, it looks like 100,000 miles.
Gotcha,
Wow.
gotcha.
Like
Cool.
That's sort of by Taiwan.
See, it's like literally in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Well, I'm sorry that I wrongly informed everyone that surfing was
Let's
in
see.
Taiwan.
That
It
is
in
lame
Tahiti.
though that everyone in the Olympics gets to go have a party in Paris and then
And they're
they're on the
stuck on a
opposite
cruise
side of the
ship.
globe on a boat.
That's
kind of
terrible.
lame.
That's like actually like unfair conditions. Like I feel like if I had to be on a cruise ship, like I was not in a good state on a cruise ship.
No. But it's also like for their sport, I guess you have to. Like what
Yeah,
other
I wonder
option
if you,
is
like,
there?
Bring your own food.
They
and
probably are. I mean, you could probably get around that, I guess. Let's see where. Or no, that's.
My favorite thing about the Olympics is just all the like team vibes. Everybody's going to each other's events and cheering each other on, and
I love that.
you get to meet other people who are elite in sports that no one cares about except for every 4 years.
I'm so excited.
I always cry when
mean-
people win and they're like so happy, and it's
Also,
like a
Paris is just
17-year-old.
dope. Like, I'm so excited.
Did you see
to
all
see
the LVMH like designed stuff that they've done?
No.
Like some of the metal cases come in Louis Vuitton bags or like
Oh,
cases
that's actually
and stuff.
crazy.
I saw like a whole campaign that they're doing, and it was really, really cool.
Awesome.
I kind of want to watch the
When is opening
surfing.
ceremonies?
It's Friday night or Saturday, one or the other.
Okay.
Okay, there's like apparently this super shallow coral reef that provides like consistently year round 2 to 3 meter tall waves.
Wow.
Like so I guess like 4 yards tall. So that's like
Yeah.
12 feet tall waves.
Yards.
All the way up to 7 meters tall. So like
Big oof.
it's hollow waves as well. So it's like super.
I would
tunnely.
die. I would genuinely like die.
That'd be
Someone
so
told me to
cool.
surf there.
That looks
I would not make it out.
terrifying. But
Have
it
you
is.
ever surfed?
Yes.
I've never surfed.
I've never
It's-
surfed
I think
before.
it looks
It's-
cool.
It's really fun, but I would not do it.
Yeah, that looks
I would
scary.
die. I would actually get
Yeah.
broken in half.
Mm. Well, anyways, guys, this was fun.
Thanks for joining,
Shout out
Gracie.
the Olympics. Jordan
Sorry, I
Aaliyah.
didn't warm up, so I probably wasn't very entertaining.
No, you were great.
Well, good
You
thing
don't
is
have
this
to warm
isn't
up.
about being entertaining. This is about being present.
The
It's
point of this
about-
podcast is not to entertain. Don't get it twisted, audience.
Audience.
Aliens.
Go have some shepherd's pie.
Go to Elliott. Get in your car. Go buy a bike. Ride your bike to Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yep.
Go buy a bike.
Love you guys.
Go buy a bike.